we want to be able to change perspectives, and if we have everything on same track, it's really difficult. So that's one reason. But I think what is still the same, because I don't know how is it in Germany, but in Finland, I felt that not many years ago there were still people who thinks that for big movies they are just doing everything, but it's not like that, because every movie, even the biggest ones, they are always saying to me that don't do anything we are not using, or don't do that and that layer, let's say 3 layers of fluoratol which just sounds the same. There's no idea of using that, or we need only this kind of high-pitched thing for this as a Foley. We have everything else covered. So that means that there's still, what is still the same, like in the beginning of Foley, art of Foley, is that you need to really decide what sounds are important and when you need each sounds, and then we come, of course, from this we come to cueing and planning the whole thing. That also, the cueing helps the fact that you are able to do these separate layers, but it doesn't mean that for example, these separate layers are going through the scene. There's one just spot, maybe some close-up of something, maybe close-up of paper where you need to hear more layers, paper, hand on paper, maybe paper on table, but might be that through the master shots, it's enough that you just hear the handle of paper. And so this, yeah. But it's still the same that and I really like that idea that it's still the same, that you need to focus what is really important, because sometimes it might be so that one sound is enough for making presence for character. And with low budget movies or documentaries, this is something what we need to think, that okay, I have 2 days time to do this 2-hour documentary, and there's this 3-minute scene, and they are giving me one cue, give us presence, and then I need to decide what is the sound which makes the presence. Is it the feet, or is it the cloth? I don't many times feel that cloth is the one which makes the presence. Cloth is just a glue between props and feet and production. But it can be like I said, it can be paper, it can be chair creaking, it can be keys or something like that, which makes actually the presence. And
Okay,
yeah.
but yeah, I hear you are pretty free in interpreting the cue you are given. So give us presence means, yeah, you
Yeah,
try to,
yeah,
yeah.
that somebody said once that if there's a 3 minutes queue like hands and presence, it's the name of the queue. That means crappy TV spotting. So it's a, I don't know how is it in Germany, but in the beginning in Finland when I started Foley, and when we started queuing some point in 2000, because when I started, I just finished scene after scene. First I did feet for that scene, then I did props, and then I did cloth. Then I moved to the next scene, and the room was full of mess
That's
all the time.
the reason why I decided not to work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after we started spotting and Foley cues, in the beginning it was totally impossible to charge anything about it, because nobody understood what is this spotting about. And it was also a big discussion with the supervising sound editors to make them, or sound designers, to make them understand what is the purpose of spotting. And actually, I used the spotting technique also for during last years when I've been supervising some fields. In the beginning of the project, I spot everything. And then I just give that spotting session to FX editor or dialogue editor, and this is it's a really good tool, spotting.
Mm-hmm. But is it you that is spotting, or did you just say you gave it away? I probably didn't really get that.
Yeah, when I've been these projects, when I have also been a sound designer, then I'm doing this in the very beginning of the project. I spot everything. I have different tracks, one for maybe 2 for dialogue, couple for foley, couple for ambiences, spot effects, music, and I spot my ideas, what I want to hear from different departments, and that's what I meant. That then I give it to the
Okay.
sound editor.
Yeah.
But if we are going only for foley work, in the beginning I did the spotting by myself, and then when Pietu Korhonen started to work with me 10 years ago, more and more I gave that for Pietu. But we discussed before we did anything. Our workflow was that I was the one who was in contact with the supervisors, and I made some really rough notes about some ideas. But it was also that me and Pietu, we've been working so many, that we worked so many projects that there was a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of things you just know that you need to do. You just need to spot them out where you need to have this and this. So it was more like I tried to always talk more about the colors and about the feelings, and then it's like then with spotting we just try to figure out how we are able to, which sounds we are able to use, and how we are able to make the feeling and the emotion of the scene come out. And I also love to use adjectives and some subscription about sound, not just writing feet on wood, or some more like it's more like a scary foot on feet on wood, or etc. But of course you need to think about where you put your adjective, so that you are still able to find, so that you find all the
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's maybe also, this is also something that I think every Foley group has their different kind of style, and it's also something which is really good to discuss with the sound designer what he wants, and then if the spotting is coming, let's say, out from house, it's good to have a talk that what kind of way we are using when we are recording Foley, and so they are able to name the Foley so that it's easy for us to work with that. And if we are using same people for spotting, after a couple of projects it's going better and better. But I really like the spotting, because it's the moment when you are able to, when I start hearing the sounds in my head. When I do spotting, I start hearing, okay, this should sound like that. And it's really nice to, when I have done my spotting myself, it's good to walk after that also. But the main thing is that you start, it's really big enjoyment when you start hearing the Foley before doing anything, just writing things down, and it starts coming up, and you can start listening. Okay, this is going to sound like this. Okay, or they have effects there already, and that's a good way with spotting is also that you at the same time checking out what is there already, coming from a production track or coming from effects, or is this a heavy loaded music in this moment. So yeah, so there's some people who don't like spotting at all, but I'm not like that.
Yes, I understand. Usually it's hard to find time for spotting, so there is a film and you have finished that, and then actually the next one is coming right after, and you get your sound designer's wish list, and usually it's like, I need the door, or I need the background, or don't do the background. I prefer to have wish lists like what's the idea of the scene in general, and what's the idea of the film in general, and on top of that, to create a spotting or cueing list by myself, it's just like you said, it's you listen to a disco scene, and you just need this glass, clack clack clack, and then you are there, and you don't need the steps, and you don't need the background, and you don't need the arm on the table and everything else beside maybe one or whatever. This is hard to tell others if they do the
I've
spotting,
been,
because
yeah,
there's always this Foley covers everything idea. I like to not. It's not because I'm lazy, but I like to have the decision done.
yeah. Actually, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's a busy, like you said, busy disco scene, and they are asking to cover background with glass pins handling or whatever, and I sometimes I'm asking, if we are talking about low budget movie, that are you really sure that you wanna make me spend my time doing that, or are you able to cover it from somewhere else, and then I have time to spend for something else when you have this quiet scene, and you have nothing there, and it's full of ADR. It may be think about this, yeah. So it's yeah, it's but I've been lucky. I've been working with the supervisors who understands that during last years, and that's really good, because it's normally it's somebody who don't understand the Foley workflow, and might be asking this and this and this and this and this and this from Foley, and sometimes I also feel that supervisor should be, now the supervisor is lazy, because he's not able to go and record that stuff, record that people on bar or something else, or going, and because doors, for example, I'm not doing slams hardly at all, only the handle or just a lock or something like that, because there's so much different kind of doors. And this is something that and if the supervisor has in his or her mind some really special sound of door, I think definitely he or she should go and record it, and then with Foley we can give that some extra organic feeling or layer for it.
What I would like to know is you probably already said that, but how precise the queuing and spotting session would be. So if there is, you said there is a close up and you need to do paper grabbing, hand on top, and a little bit more on the close up, and in the wide shot there's just one track. Is it a decision you are making yourself, or is it in the spotting queue? How much actually do you have to think about what the spotting means every time you do a sound? Like if I remember there's a spotting coming, and I know the same thing is just going on a second before, I wonder why isn't it spotted over there. So yeah, you need to be able to rely on what's spotted. So you really need to trust the thing.
Yeah, you are right. You need to trust the spotting, and you need to trust the Foley mixer also, because as a for example in Europe, like both you and me, we've been working years just as a one Foley artist and Foley mixer. So there's not much time to check out cue lists or anything like that. We are just busy to survive and do the work, but now the big difference now working here at Skywalker Ranch is that I'm working with other Foley artists, Shelley Rodden, and we have time when other is working. We have time to check out our upcoming cues. But I remember when I was working in my studio in Finland, it was also something that the Foley mixer should be able to check out a little bit. Okay, why this is not spotted here, but we spotted here. Might be so that in a best way we can trust the spotting, and okay, there is somebody who has made the Foley cues, has been thinking about, okay, this sound is here we don't need it because it's just distracting dialogue, for example, or there is some other sounds. but this is the moment where Foley can shine and we can do it only here. So this is the kind of thing that this is something we need to trust, because it's kind of waste of time to start figuring out, do we need that sound also there and there and there, and we are doing it in a Foley stage with 2 persons, which is much more expensive. Like there's one who is doing the spotting in this kind of room or your rooms, and she should think about that. And so it's really important to trust Foley spotting and yeah. But good spotting, then it's also possible to improvise. Like you said, that for example, if we have this, let's say, 15 seconds cue about paper, and sometimes when I in my studio working with Pietro and also some bigger project, I have noticed that they have spotted these small things middle of this cue, that here we need also the sliding paper on table, or and maybe that's the difference between bigger budget movie and the small budget, that there's more time and there's more time to do those details, and the best way how things can happen is that somebody who has been spotting is also thinking about how this might be going to be mixed. Okay, this is the point when we are able to hear the close-up sound of sliding paper, for example, and sometimes there's just so tight schedule that we just do it one track and we don't have time to go to close-ups, and yeah, this also this has sad to say this, but it has also something to do with budget, because if we have only 3 days or 4 days, 5 days for feature film, like it was pretty common in Scandinavia, and so there's not much time to do those small details.
Yes, and there's not much time to think about anything. So you have
Yeah.
to go through, and there's no time to rethink, to redo, to questioning what you do, and you have just to finish the film.
Yeah. But
That's
the
really
one thing is also what I always try to say, that the biggest thing how you can help the situation, that you know the project. That's the biggest thing, and that's why I have always wanted to read scripts beforehand, and also it would be great to have some offline or rough cuts, not just giving any comments for that, but just to prepare myself, and it's really important to know the story. That helps you to maybe, okay, I remember that there is also that one special moment, and I can ask from the Foley mixer that is this paper also spotted there, or is this ringing metal also spotted there? Because I remember that there is one place where so we can go there and check out it. And yeah, sometimes we of course, when I was running my own studio, I was the one who took the risk that, okay, this goes over time. Sometimes you want to do it and you are able to do it, but not always. And it's not related with do I like some project more than, because I don't want to think like that. It's there's project coming after one project, and so you just need to think about what you have time to do. What is the place you put more effort, and what is the place you just go on. Sometimes it's also good to just go and rock and roll. I remember there was one project years ago we did for Peter Arpexen, and there was this big sandstorm scene, and somehow I felt that we were avoiding it during the process. And then Pietro was actually recording that in Kokkola, and his train was about to leave back to Helsinki in 1 hour. And the biggest scene of the whole movie, and I noticed, oh shit, we have 20 minutes time to do it. And it was like, in 20 minutes, I made a total mess in my studio, but we did it. So it was really rock and roll. Now we just go.
perfect.
Sometimes it's good, but you can't live like that every day.
Yes, sure. It needs time to clean up.
Yeah.